Let's do this. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Eber Farmer Cigar Deck Talks. How's everyone doing? Doing pretty good. Messed up my ankle, something fierce. I'd like to say it was jumping in to save a drowning child from a attack dog or something heroic like that. Sadly, I messed up my ankle by walking on a treadmill. I was trying to get back into summer shape. We're going to be doing a bunch of hiking and walking this summer. So I got on my treadmill. I've been taking it actually really easy all through the winter, trying not to hurt myself or anything like that. So I was like, I got to start putting a little bit of elevation on this treadmill. Put up to 3 on the elevation, and I think that did something. So yay to old age. I used to get massive ambulance accidents, attacked by patients, lifting heavy people, minimally hurt from doing that heroic stuff, and I get injured walking. Anyway, enough of that. On to formalities. Cigar tonight is the Rocky Pedal. Let's get that in zoom there. Edge, the blue one. Yeah, and I don't remember exactly what the difference is of the different colors. I know they're different flavors and stuff, but I don't remember, unfortunately. Which is cool. It's still good. Nice dark wrapper there. For the drink, from Dogfish, we're having Campfire Amplifier. Now, I bought this one. I think it was a little bit of a deal, actually. But I couldn't remember if I had it, and then I got home, I looked at the bottle again, I was like, oh, yep, I have definitely had this one before. So sorry, bit of a redo. It's bound to happen, as there are a few categories of beers I'm not really interested in drinking, but if I remember correctly, this one was fairly decent. So we're going to go ahead and have her again. And as I remembered, yep, almost no head on that. Oh, it does have a chewing taste. Yeah, it's definitely got campfire in it. I remember that from last time. So, we are continuing on with the War Stories, EMS War Stories series. Tonight's emotion, question, whatever you want to call it, is going to be fear. Now, I probably should save these ones, you might be thinking, for a Halloween special. There is a difference between fear and horror. Fear is just that kind of gets you going. Someone cuts you off and you get a jump, you get a little scare. Yeah, it doesn't really make for a great ghost story. Even though there is some cranes flying over, some ribeye in the sky coming. So it doesn't make for a great horror story, something to creep you out about. So I think during Halloween, during October, I will do nothing but horror war stories. Because there are a couple of good, very creepy ones that are horrifying, keep you up at night. So we'll do that then. So this one's fear. Tell me a time you were scared on the rig, or got scared on the rig. Well, the first one that pops up was a bizarre call. We were heading out. I got called for a male patient having an allergic reaction. It was at the prison. We get to the Sally Port. We're talking with the staff, and they said, yep, this guy, he's had them before, and they get bad, so be ready. It's going to be bad. Okay, not a problem. I get a few things prepped like I usually do. Get there. Sure enough, the guy's face is pretty well swollen. But it's kind of weird. He's actually talking all right. And I can't really hear wheezing. Now, I haven't put the stethoscope on his chest yet. If you never worked inside the prison, there's a lot of hoops you got to jump through and rigor mortis and whatnot. Kind of gets in the way of doing your assessment a lot of the times. So, CO comes in with the chains. They said they couldn't get an IV. He kept jerking and pulling, and they just really wanted to get him in. And I said, okay, and they tried an EpiPen, it didn't work. Not a problem. So I looked at the CO, I said, all right, go ahead, apply your restraints. And the CO was kind of surprised. He's like, oh, okay, sure. So he puts the cuffs on, and the prisoner gets emotionally disturbed. You can see there's something he doesn't like. He starts complaining how it's too tight, he can't breathe, please take him off. And they look towards me. I said, no, it's just, you'll be all right, I'll talk you through this. The chains go on the belly, they don't go on the chest. So he can breathe fine. Well, with the chains on, you can breathe fine. What we were saying was an allergic reaction. So we get in the back of the rig, and I'm doing my assessment. I listen, sure enough, his lung sounds are clear. We did find out he was allergic to shellfish, and they had shrimp or something, deep fried shrimp, or no, it's fish. He was allergic to fish. That was right. And they had a white fish or a perch, a special dinner. They do those every few months. If the prisoners behave, they get a little bit of a better dinner. That's right. It was white fish he was allergic to. Okay, this was just weird. Something wasn't exactly clicking. Well, I knew I needed an IV, so I bust out my IV kit. Normally, by the time we can get from health services to the Sally Port, I can get 1 to 2 IVs. I can do a 12 or have my 12 lead hooked up, so we're in Sally Port. I can run it. You get very efficient, very quick. So the prisoner starts saying, "You gotta take off my chains, man. You'll never get that IV. You'll never get that IV. You gotta take off my cuffs. Gotta take my hands out. You'll never get that IV." I was like, "All right, listen here, Junior. I've been working in and around this prison system now for about 10 years. If there's one thing I can get an IV while someone's cuffed. Some of the newer providers, they'll have the CO uncuff them. I don't really see a need. Leave them cuffed up. I can get IVs. I can do all my medical tests while they're cuffed." And the guy just went ballistic about me doing this IV without taking him out of his cuffs. And he was fighting, he was thrashing. And I told him, look, there's other places to put it. I can put it in your feet, I can put it in your neck. I said, hell, I've got a bone drill, an interosseous IV I can do right inside your damn leg. So stop it about the cuffs, relax, I'll get the IV. So we had to go start the IV, and I kind of figured this was going to happen. He starts jerking his arm. He wants me to miss. It was really weird. So I was able to get it, though. Again, I've been doing this for 10 years at that time. Got the IV in, secured it, taped it, started getting my Benadryl drawn up. And at that time, we just gotten into the Sally Port. So I was kind of sitting by the side door, getting the drug box out, getting ready to give him some Benadryl. It was almost time to give him another round of Epi if he needed it, but again, he didn't have the wheezing, so not really a candidate for Epi. Which again, I was going to listen to his lung sounds in a second and see if maybe it developed, like this was a slow burn anaphylactic shock. So, ambulance stops, put it in park, and next thing I know, in rushes 6 COs. In their battle gear, helmets, they've got their chest protectors on, their arm protectors, a couple have batons. I'm actually pulled out the side door, and I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? And I have no idea. There's more COs in and around the Sally Port. They pulled my partner out of the driver's door. He's just livid. He's pissed. He's starting to yell how we're killing this guy and what the hell are they doing and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm also pissed. So I stick my head and I talk to the guys. What the hell's going on? I got to stay in visual contact with my patient. That's just the law. Well, they start stripping him naked. They're cutting his clothes off and throwing his shirt. Actually throws his shirt towards the side door. It lands in front of me. And out rolls 2 shanks. They got his pants off. They threw his pants out the back door. 2 more shanks fell out. And in case you don't know, a shank is a prison-made knife. A knife you make on the inside. I'm staring down at a sharpened toothbrush and what looks to be a piece of wire that he had put some tape to make a handle out of. So they black box him. It's a special type of cuffing. They put this black box on the chains that are his wrists. And then all of a sudden, the guards leave. I'm not allowed to get back in the ambulance until they have 2 more COs whose whole job is to just sit in the back with me. One sits at his feet with his hand on his handgun. Another one sits with a shotgun in the seat behind him, racked and ready to go. So, in case you're wondering, yes, there was an officer who was riding in with us, but he was a little nervous about being in the back of getting in the way. This was common. He went up front to sit in the passenger seat, and he was getting the world's biggest scolding. He was not allowed to come in with us. I found out later he got in quite a bit of trouble. I did go to his defense. I'll explain that in a second. So we're gonna get rolling again, and I look at the one CO who's got his hand on the handgun, and the prisoner looks pissed. I said, "All right." I said, "Before we go out." So he comes out with me. I say, "What in the hell is going on?" We're still in the Sallyport. I told him, I said, I need the full story before we go. Well, this guy had planned an escape, and we were part of it. He knew he was allergic to fish, but he also knew that if he didn't eat it, he didn't get anaphylaxis. But if he rubbed it over his face, it would make him look like he was having anaphylaxis. And he had hidden, at that time we knew of 4 shanks. He had a 5th shank up the man pocket. And his goal was, once we got outside the Sallyport, he knew that the other times he'd had these allergic reactions, the paramedics, who were always new, uncuffed him. Had him on cuffs so they could work on him better. And they also knew that the CO always went up front next to the driver to drive in. So his plan was to murder me, murder the CO, murder my partner, drive the ambulance, lights and sirens, because no one's going to stop an ambulance with lights and sirens, all the way back to his home, where he'd set it on fire or something and then be on the run from the law. Thankfully, his bunkie knew his plan. Now, in prison, there is no honor among thieves. Very rarely do you have an honor among thieves. His bunkie went to the warden just after he went to the health services and said, "Warden, I want 5 years off my sentence and you can save 3 lives." The warden said, "If it pans out, I'll give you 6 years off your sentence." And that's when he told him. His bunkie told the whole story. They alerted the ERT, the emergency response team, to go in and take this guy down. So the guy was not happy. Got to the hospital. We're kind of, me and my partner, in a bit of a shell shock. That was one of many times we were really close to death. And my partner looks at me and says, "You know, if you weren't on this call, if it was one of the other medics, we'd all be dead now." We had a lot of new medics, and he's right. There are a lot of the medics who would have uncuffed him, who would have told the CO to ride in the front. Now, I didn't care. They were never in my way. Again, doing this for 10 years, I can work around someone. I can work around a CO sitting back there, one of the corrections officers. But had it been someone else, we would have had 2 dead providers and a dead guard and an escaped prisoner. I'm 100% sure of it. Thankfully, we were able to get some leniency for the CO. I think I might have even lied for him and said he should ride up front. Kind of gave him a little bit of an order. He didn't. He just jumped up front, and he even asked me, he said, "Do you want me in the back? Do you want me in the front?" I said, "Oh, I don't care." He said, "Well, I hate getting in your way, so I'll jump in the front." Okay. So, yeah, that was actually one of my almost last calls for multiple reasons. After that, I transitioned to a different position where I wasn't responding to the prison anymore. Not to mention, that prisoner was ready. He was going to take me down. So that was scary. That was a fear. It was one of the scary call. That definitely puckered you up, scared you a little bit when you realized how close you were to dying. Again, what lucked out, I don't need them uncuffed. I can IV around them. I actually like the security procedures of having them cuffed up the entire time. I like having the guy in the back, but it's not 100% necessary. Not because I believe I can take someone down or something, but they do kind of get in the way. And I did have a couple of defensive tools at my disposal, which I might talk about in a different video. So, yeah, that's one of the scares. There's a lot more of those fear-inducing scary calls to come, so don't you worry if that's something you're interested in. Well, anyway, on that, I'm going to leave it here. Hope everyone's doing well. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you on the next one.